We're back! PSA announcement to everybody. We are back. Welcome to Splitfield 3. Come smoke the best trees ever while enjoying live performances from some of the New England's finest artists.
Had to get my ground right. Diamonds on me, they shine bright. Just bought a new watch, then flooded the face. Can't tell if the time right.
Nigga, that's my life. That shit over here.
I'm about to move somewhere pretty. Not too sedity, cause I'm in love with the city, Maybe if I wasn't such an infant. Maybe if the streets weren't so much.
Always brought to you by Inappropreality.
What?
Shorty bad and bougie, seeking for attention. I can't like she moody, dealing with depression. Like Wi-Fi, feel connected to you. Sorry, I can't give any affection to you. I'm about that action, nigga, I ain't with the talking. I ain't about to put you on while I'm getting off it. I done put in work my whole life to be the boss. Nigga, I'm about to put in overtime, no exhaust.
Shop with many of our vendors, enter raffles, and
please don't compare me, I'm one of a kind and these niggas too basic. But they pay for the bounty, put a price in your head and my niggas gon' pay it. I'm with the violence, I'm with the money getters and the choppers and they moving silence. They moving silence. Yeah.
I want an ounce of weed when I see you, you motherfucker. This has been a PSA announcement and I approve this message.
You ain't got the Johns on the genre.
What?
You ain't got the Johns on the Johns.
I don't know what you're talking about. Alright, motherfuckers, this is Inappropreality. I am DJ Mike Torch.
Back way.
Okay.
Chad.
Kizle.
Shout out our sponsor, All About Business. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, just contact me. $25 a month and we can get your stuff everywhere. You know, we be promoting, going everywhere, a bunch of places. Welcome to Splitfield 3 coming up. You got some shit coming up, don't you? Did you some shit you want to announce? Hell no. You ain't got no date yet?
For what?
Uh-oh.
2? Part 2?
Sometime in June.
Uh-oh.
For Grindhouse Part 2.
That's gonna be it. That's gonna be it.
I've been thinking about that night. And I'm like, damn, what a... Kizle, you missed a good night for Western Massachusetts. It was alternative hip-hop at a warehouse.
We haven't even talked about this.
And cops came, shut it down. It was crazy, but it was amazing. My young bull didn't get to perform, but...
Cops shut everything down now, so it's not even really just
but
an event, so don't feel bad.
It was packed.
Yeah.
Like, it was just...
I feel like part 2 is gonna be even crazier.
Part 2's at the backyard.
That's gonna get shut down.
Yeah.
Early.
No. So this is what we're doing.
Knocking on doors, passing out flyers.
No.
And shit.
So we're planning it out. So it's gonna be way shorter lineup, way shorter showtime, and it's gonna be earlier.
Word.
And then we're gonna do something about the parking situation. We're gonna try to. I'm gonna draw out a map, and I'm gonna have people park on the other streets and spread it out instead of parking on.
And I was about to say, that's what like, block that shit off.
Yeah, emphasis on staying in the backyard, staying here, and let's see how it goes. I mean, get shut down. We get shut down. That's part of the business. And I think it is Muda Cabaret from Rhode Island, the band that didn't get to perform.
Oh shit, I forgot about
Cabaret.
I forgot somebody else, and then we're selling 3 slots. And the reason why we're doing that is because every day if somebody's contacting me like, oh, so da. So in order to give everybody a fair chance, we're gonna come up with some details on how you acquire a slot. But the slots aren't free, but we're not taxing. We give you tickets. You get to make your money back and then some. Because I'm generous, so I'm gonna give you extra tickets. Because I want everybody to eat. Everybody can eat. Everybody go home happy. Great time. June.
Hell yeah.
June.
April 23rd. Welcome to Splitfield 3.
Yeah.
I'm excited. We got artists coming from Boston, Connecticut. It's gonna be, and when I say Boston, I mean that whole area, mostly Brockton, some Lawrence. Come out, network, because it's gonna be a lot of people not from here for the first time. I'm gonna meet people for the first time as well, so I'm excited. Shape bands, like that's gonna be crazy. Fat Flea coming, I get to see him perform for the first time. It's gonna be J Rose, get to see him perform for the first time. Well, Key Baby, she's dope as hell. Listen to her music, finally tapping into her. A lot of people. Alicia, dope R&B, Jerome Clayton.
Yeah, we were talking about vocalists and singers and shit. We definitely forgot to mention Elisa Freeman.
Yeah.
Fire.
CT artist.
Yeah, she's CT artist.
So, Yeah, dope. Definitely come out. Get your tickets available everywhere. Shit. Long time coming for this one. I can't believe this is even happening. No bullshit. How you been, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm always great.
That's good.
For real, for real. We was talking about a lot earlier. I want to get to some other stuff first. Let's start with this name change. As Carlos suggested, we started off with. Well, why the name change?
So, I've had this name SK since I was 14, and I don't know. I just got tired of it. Like, no one really calls me SK. Like, none of my friends call me SK. People have been calling me Kizle my whole life, and I kind of just hit a point in my career where I was like, I had all this music, and I'm like, I need just a new. It's not even new. I just needed a new start, just so it could be fresh, and I'm excited again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As an artist, not as a producer. I just kind of just felt not uninspired, just like not excited to like drop new music, because I record all the time, but like I just didn't know what would be it to actually drop new music, and changing my name actually just made that spark for me.
You sure it wasn't being uninspired? Because that happens.
I can't speak. I can only speak for myself, but I've just never been in a place where I wasn't able to create.
Word.
And it's only because I do so many things, whether it's production, songwriting, or making my own music. I'm always creating. I've never had a block ever in my life. But I'm different because this is all I do. I'm just an artist, and this is just me.
Does that come with not forcing things?
Yes.
Because you do so many things, I feel like I'm not feeling this, I'm about to go this way. I'm about to make a beat instead of hitting this pad.
I wouldn't even say that. It's kind of just a natural thing where I just wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do this today because I'm feeling this. Or I heard something, I'm like, oh, this is fire. I'm gonna make beats today. Or, you know, shit like that.
Right. Where does all this creativity come from?
To be honest, it's really hard to say. Kind of just comes. Experiences through life, meeting new people, friends, old experiences. It's really hard for me to say because it's just in me, to be honest.
Word. You said you brought up something else that a lot of people really don't admit or even care to do about fucking with everybody and listening to a lot of people from this area and giving them their respect.
Mm-hmm.
Where does that come from, that humility? To even just be like, nah, yeah, everybody's doing their thing the way that they should be.
Because I'm a fan. At the end of the day, I love music, and I feel like I see talent in everyone. And that comes from kind of the A&R side of me. I can kind of just meet someone and be like, okay, you're really not good at this, but let's try to wean you onto this. It's just the producer side of me. So, in people's flaws in their music, I find, beauty in it. You know what I mean? I think everyone. Okay, so I'm gonna fuck you up. So, I think everyone thinks like I only like music that sounds like perfect, just because my music is always mixed well, or I make industry records or whatever, or I produce industry records. But a lot of the music I listen to, I don't really look at the mix or how it was written, or I mean, obviously I have that side of me, but that's not the most important thing. It's kind of just like whether they have it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, then the intent behind the record, like what was you trying to do type shit, I guess? Is that what you're trying to say?
It's just how it sounds, you know what I mean? Like, do I want to play this all the time? How does this make me feel? You know what I mean? It's not really anything too deep with it, because with music, it's like, I don't know. I don't really nerd out over it, because I think a lot of people just nerd out over it and just they're like, oh, well, this doesn't sound good, or this, he didn't write it this way, and at the end of the day, no one really fucking knows. No one's a professional, you know what I mean? I'm definitely not. Like, things I make just end up working, you know what I mean? And some don't work, but I don't know. I think people definitely just nerd out and just kind of bash artists and make them kind of recluse and feel like, oh, well, I have to make my music like this. And I don't know. It's either you have it or you're not, for me, you know?
What makes a song have replay value to you?
I think that's all cognitive. Like, I think you could say like it's a catchy melody, but I hear a lot of records that it sounds like I see what they were going for, and it just doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds really good, but it's just not. I get what you were trying to do, but like, it just. And then some people will have replay value. You know what I mean? and then it won't be maybe for me, but it'll be for you, because you relate to it more or something like that. You know what I mean?
I think relatability is a huge part of music that a lot of people
Especially
don't even...
to me, like we were discussing before, like, yeah, you're dope, but you don't talk to me. That's what I mean. That's relate to me, or I relate to you. You don't talk to me. You talk to me.
So one thing I like about music, though, and I think the biggest change in the industry was like 2019 when Detroit rap became really popular. They were talking about a lot of shit that I didn't know much about. You know what I mean? I'm not a scammer or anything, but that like
all rappers from Detroit are scammers.
No, you know what I mean? The Detroit sound that came out at that time, it was really electric, and it just, you know, it sounded really good. And what I'm saying is, like, some music just kind of puts you in that zone, and you kind of just like what they're talking about, even if you don't relate to it. You know what I mean? But relatability is definitely important, but, you know, some people just gravitate to things they don't really live, and that's how a lot of people start rapping about things they don't really do. You know what I mean?
I don't like that.
Why?
Don't like that. I like the authenticity behind the artist.
Okay.
It's like if I'm even feel that you're rapping about something that...
So my thing on that is, you know...
And it's just rappers, not R&B artists for some reason.
Why?
I don't know.
There's a lot of R&B artists that don't really have, like, the great sex lives that they're talking about in their music.
Facts.
I'm
certain.
I know you hear maybe even local people that you know personally that are rapping about certain things that you know, they're not really like that. So it's okay for them to do it. But if this artist talks about killing people and holding guns and you know he doesn't, that's when it's wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We gotta make up our minds down the line, because I always said there's a lot of rappers that I meet in person, even industry people, who rap about certain things, and I know, like, they've never had those situations with women until they were rappers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if they can lie about it, this person can lie about fucking selling drugs and holding it. To me personally, how do you feel about that, though?
I still like the authentic shit when it comes to rap and hip hop itself. Like, but I don't know, R&B is part of it. But that shit's different. I think the way I feel like the way it's written, R&B artists they're not usually writing all their own.
Exactly.
Records.
Right. You're absolutely right. So authenticity too. Like if I want to go and find that, there's artists that you know for a fact are rapping what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's why we like Vinny so much.
Yeah.
That's why we like Conway. Like that's why I'm a big fan of them, because I know the way they're writing this, there's no fucking way they're lying. You know what I mean? And their age and their, you know, how seasoned they are. That's where authenticity really comes into play for me too.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's get into the history. You was talking some stuff earlier about this young man's history. You want to get into it?
Yeah.
Get into the background of how this man came to.
I mean, he can talk about it a little bit more, but I had mentioned how Gotti Gator being a influence, and I want to know if he knows that he's an influence on the newer generation that's doing shit now, because like I had said, like, you come from that, you know, family tree. Talk about like your relationship with him. And
so my cousin was actually in Gator Entertainment. His name was Rob Lowe. He was in a group called the Illegal Bastards. That's my blood cousin. So
that's a little Springfield history for you youngins.
Yeah, so Illegal Bastards was kind of like a leg off of Gator Entertainment. So when we were young, my mom was actually a singer too. So she would go out and do, because back then, like, the cool thing to do was to have the girl on your hook while you're rapping and shit like that. So my mom was that person who would go to studios and kind of sing the fucking backgrounds or whatever. And during those times, I would meet a lot of like local rappers and things like that, like the older dudes, and I was only like fucking like 9 or 8 or whatever. And these people would teach me how to write verses and shit like that. So I remember there was a dude named Warlock, which a lot of people won't know unless you're fucking from that time. I remember the first time he sat me down and taught me how to write a 16. So throughout that time, Gotti was like that #1 person who was actually producing for like all these legends like Jadakiss and shit like that. Like he was the first person to actually have placements that I know of in Western Mass. You know what I mean? The first one to have an actual label and shit like that. So I actually didn't even get to meet Gotti until I was 19, 20. So that was fucking huge to me. I realize a lot of people don't really care about history like that, and I think it's so important. I know,
For our area.
It's fucking awesome. That's great. I feel like a lot of people don't, and it's really important because, and I can tell, like, with Gotti, I've paid so much homage, it's probably like fucking strange sometimes to him. He's like, bro, relax. Like, it's okay. You know what I mean? I'm just like, bro, you're just like, whenever I get beats from, I'm like, bro, you're so dope. Like, you're so great. And I do that with everyone who has helped me in my life. Like, the first producer who actually showed me how to make like a really good beat, like the beats I make now, is Casey the Beat Monster, which you guys probably don't know who he is, but he produced a lot of Atlanta shit. And you know, that's important. You know, especially in my life, like, you have to pay homage to the people who helped you get to where you are now. Because without those people, it's like, I always look at it like this, like, if these people pass at a certain time, where would we be right now? You know what I mean? Like, if those things never happen, I wouldn't be here. So, it's kind of like a ripple effect thing. Sorry, I answer questions weird. So.
No, it's good, because I just came up with another one, because he just got his first gold plaque. Avery, where did that come from? And was it something that you took him under your wing, and
so no, I wouldn't say that.
Or he was already.
No, I met Avery in 2014.
Avery on the beat for those.
Yeah, me and Avery met 2014. He was working with an artist named King Ink. And King Ink was actually interning at my studio when I was just at my mom's house. He would actually come and he would run the sessions for me, just to learn Pro Tools and shit like that and hang out with me. And he showed me Avery, and we did a song over one of his beats, and then we ended up meeting him. The real thing that kind of made me and Avery's relationship a lot better was when I opened Philtown, our recording studio. It got really busy, and I wasn't able to record Reek, Joe, Pete, and all of them because I was still running the studio and working on my own shit and producing and fucking, you know what I mean?
I remember that studio too.
A lot of people don't know.
That studio is legendary.
During the Philtown times, I was an engineer. I was the head engineer at Philtown, and you could book with me for $25 an hour and get a beat. I was working there the whole time. Like, you know what I'm saying? But the biggest thing that helped me was I went to Avery's house, and I was like, I need you to record people. I need you to record Reek and all these people when I'm busy. And he opened a studio for that. It was him and Little Chris. So we had 3 studios at the time where we could record whenever we needed to, whenever I was busy. So I think that was kind of like what kind of got him to engineer more. But I wouldn't say I took him under my wing. He's just a great producer, and he just hustles. Like, when I would tell him, you know, I've told every producer back in the day, I was like, bro, you gotta make fucking 50 beats a day. You know what I mean? It's the only way.
He's killing.
And he listened. He was one of the people who actually listened, and cause I can tell you anything. I can tell you to go to the fucking studio and make 10 songs, but if you don't want to do it, my words are useless. And I've told a lot of people a lot of shit. Like, a lot. And people have definitely heard it from me. I've yelled at people all types of shit, from people being lazy or whatever and being around me. It's about what you do with the words, and Avery used the words correctly.
Right. People aren't accepting of criticism. Like, people don't take it well, regardless.
It's not even criticism, it's just like
Motivation.
Right.
Because I don't criticize people. I think it comes from being an engineer. I just let people do what they need to do, especially creatively. I'm just gonna listen. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help it make sense as much as I can. Because I'm a producer. I'm a beat maker, but I'm the person who wants to make the record as best as I can. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna help you as much as I can.
All right. How did Philtown as a whole collective come together?
So, I met Reek Lauren in 2014. One of my friends was showing me him. I thought he was fucking great. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. Because at the time I was like, this is when I was first getting my first placements or whatever, and my SoundCloud was getting a lot of views. I was like, I want to find an artist who kind of sounds like Springfield. You know what I mean? So I finally met Reek. Honestly, I tried it with a couple other artists too. It just didn't work. I met Reek, and then we hung out, one day, and the first song we ever did was Strap on Me. So after that, you know, Reek became who he was. 2015 comes around. Me and Kev became really close. God bless the dead. Me and Kev would hang out every single day. Me, him, and Petey would hang out, record music, and just fuck around. You know, I was working on my own shit too, obviously, my solo shit. And then one day I was just like, Reek, come to the studio, and I think Joe was there, I'm not sure. But we all got up one day and just made a few records, and they just sounded fucking great. I think it was Slab. I don't know if you remember Slab? We made Slab and this record called, and we did a couple freestyles too. We did Bitch Right Out of My Money and some other shit. I'm like, holy fuck, this is great. This sounds great. So I already had Filth Town as a brand, but I was like, I kind of want to just push this as like a group because we all look good together. We sound really good. And at the time, our cameraman, Zach Renville, was shooting our videos. So months pass. We're working on Reek's solo shit. I'm DJing at the time. And come back from Atlanta and I open the studio. 2 months later, when it's done, we get in the studio and then we do the 2 records that everybody knows. It's Snooty and Only Girl in My Life. Mm-hmm. We actually did both those songs in the same night. We did them in under like 2 hours. The footage is still online too. I did both those songs in like 2 hours. Leave the studio. Time passes. We're driving to Big Mike to get some, to lock in this opening. I forgot who I was opening for. But we were playing the Snooty record and my cameraman was like, yo, this is really fucking good. This is before it was mixed. He's like, this is really good. I think you should shoot a video. And at the time I was like, bro, like, nah. I'm like, we're working on other shit right now that I'm not really feeling this record. And I just listened to him. I booked the video, and then a week after we shot it, we dropped the song, and then we dropped the video like 2 weeks later, and then we finished the project. It's, I don't know.
Legendary.
I don't know, like, I don't,
definitely.
this is the kind of things that I'm saying, it's just like, it's kind of just time. It's nothing that could be replicated. It's nothing that was kind of just predetermined or like, oh, we knew this was going to happen. I know you guys hear that shit all the time. It's just the universe, man. It's just
insane.
And I feel like things happen so other things can happen. You know?
To this day, I DJ'd a party. This was, I don't remember. This was probably like, I don't even remember what year it was. You guys had just put it out. It was bubbling for some time before I caught on and knew what the hell was going on.
No.
I got the record. I don't even know how. Got the record and I ended up playing it at a Chicopee High School party. And I, to this day, have never seen a reaction the way I got a reaction out of that track from this area. Like, I'm talking like people eating, jump out their fucking seats. Nah. Like, I like drop their plates, drop everything. Like, now we going on the dance floor and we turning the fuck up. Like, it was madness. I will never forget that moment. You guys definitely had that a fucking moment. It was insane. It was insane. I congratulate you because that's something that will never be forgotten.
Never.
For real.
I always say this, like seeing Filth Town and seeing the things that you guys were able to do, even on a much smaller scale, because there was things that you guys could have done that could have been bigger. But that was like the first time that I seen that I was like, wow, this music shit is possible out here. Like, something can really come from this area. Like,
I come from a place where, you know, I grew up in Chicopee, and I was making music at a time where there weren't really many people making music, so it was kind of hard to have any inspiration to do anything.
especially out of Chicopee.
Yeah, especially Chicopee. You know, there weren't that many people. There was like, obviously me and Dylan Reese, you know, Big Drip, and his name was John Effect before. John Effect, I will actually give you some history on Chicopee. John Effect was the first person to release music out of Chicopee ever. Like, before me. Like, I used to look at his music as when I was young and be like, oh shit, there's a fucking rapper.
He's the other person that I had mentioned, and it was a long time ago when we had this conversation with DK that you guys didn't know.
I still didn't. I was still like.
When I had mentioned like the, you know, influence, I have you up there. He will be the second one, and then everybody else will be question marks. He's the second person that I.
John Effect?
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that.
There's a lot of things that stem from him
yeah,
too.
no, I'm not saying it's wrong.
Yeah,
like.
You're a family tree.
Shit. Like,
he's a family tree
else.
too. Like, you got Big Drip. And then you got like little affiliates like Lil Step, Kudo, DKA. Like his line is crazy too. Like
so John Effect too. One thing I left out in the lineage of how Philtown was kind of created. Me and Dylan were doing concerts at Iron Horse, and I was opening for him one day, and I wanted some kind of like cool name to kind of like 30 minutes of something. So my name's Filthy, obviously. That's my tag or whatever. So I was just like Philtown, and that's how I created it. And then a month after, I'm like, I'm gonna do my own show called Philtown. So it began as a show, you know what I mean? And John Effect was part of those first shows. Like, there's flyers with him, me and him on them with the fucking logo, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that was another thing that, yeah.
Shout out to that guy, Big Drip. He gonna be at Carnival in 2 weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
He's on the lineup.
That's dope.
Yeah, shout out to that guy, Big Drip.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be coming on the podcast too, so you guys will meet him soon.
Yeah.
Shit.
What?
Cause I need to tap in. I need to know what's
Not
going
for real,
on.
for real.
John Effect's dope.
Yeah, he like you said like a weed rapper?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's just a rapper in general.
Mhm.
You know, I was a big fan of him when I was super young. Still am, obviously, but you know, I remember the little YouTube videos he would post and shit. I'd fucking have them on repeat and shit, because it's just, it hits harder when people are from where I'm from. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if y'all feel that way, but I'm really,
Yeah.
I really be like, I know lyric by a lot of artists out here. You know,
Word. No bullshit.
That's me.
like, I don't just support people just because, oh, that's my friend or whatever. Like, if I like their record, like, I'm actually playing it and shit just because I'm a fan. And, you know, I've sat in rooms with people, like, fucking around or whatever, because, you know, people will be like, I'll be like, yo, who's the hottest rapper, just being funny and shit. And they'll say all these names. And then I ask them to, like, name songs or name lyrics.
They can't write.
Yeah. Yeah, and they'll just be fucking, and I'll fuck them up, too.
And that be your mans.
Because some people...
That be their mans that they saying is the
Right.
hottest rapper, and they
And-
can't name
and then-
one song from their mans.
That's corny.
One person said
lyric.
Blocks, and I don't fucking disagree with that. And I'll be like, yo, name a song from Blocks, and they'll be like, oh. I'm like, nigga, I can do that. You know what I'm saying? I've been listening to him forever. I'll name hella songs, word for word. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just the kind of love I show. You know what I mean? And it's natural. It's not like I'm like forcing it. It's just love.
That fake love shit gets you fucked up. Having the wrong people around you, having those type of people around you that act like they're a fan or a supporter, and then just
You want more people to not like you, though. I
Why
know
you say
people
that?
have said that. Because my logic on this that I've seen, just because of the analytics and the things I can show you, someone is more willing to post something they don't like to share it than
sure.
not liking something. Like, if you post some shit like, oh, this is dope, like Kizle's dope or some shit, like, it's probably like a 20% chance someone will click it, maybe. But if you say, damn, this shit's ass, like Kizle fell off, fuck him.
Everybody's like,
You're gonna have 20 shares, 50 shares, just because maybe it's like some shit from my past or whatever, or maybe somebody didn't like me, or maybe I fuck. You know what I'm saying? This is shit like that is gonna be shared way more than you showing love to me. And if you have a lot of people doing that, it's gonna be a lot quicker for you to raise in the ranks.
those
than-
things are true, absolutely true. But how do you balance? How do you balance not being liked and actually having fans, and then keeping support within your peers? Because once you lose your peers, ain't nobody gonna fuck with you.
So
In this area, at least, because this is a small community of artists.
So I'll tell you this: I don't have friends. I didn't grow up where I had a lot of friends and then people just liked my music because I had friends. And this is me personally speaking. So I've never had a biased person in my group like me just because I was friends with them. All my friends come from music. So it's never been a point in time where it was like, oh, this person only likes me because blah, blah, blah. He's only posting this because of blah, blah. Like, I don't even care if my close peers post my music, because that's not the point. We're all in the same network. That's why I don't get why people are like, oh, my friends don't share my music. Like, this is so fucked up. I'm like, why do you give a fuck? You guys have the same network. The same people that you're posting to, they're gonna see it too. I never understood that concept of my friends don't support me. Who gives a fuck? I've never gave a fuck about that shit, bro. Only just because I grew up in a time where people didn't care about our local music scene. I had to go on the internet. I've been on the internet since I was 12 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've always had the mindset where I'm like, well, I took a bus to Atlanta when I was 19. Took 24 hours to get there. I was fucking broke. You know what I'm saying?
That
'Cause
bus ride had to have been miserable.
It was terrible. But I slept in the studio for a week. I slept in the studio for a week and met all the people who made me who I am today. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people say shit like this on this podcast, and I feel like artists don't take that in or even have that motivation enough to even consider hopping on the bus. Fuck it, I'm going no matter what. I don't care what outcome
Not
this
even
is.
just doing the bus. It's just the by any means. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like motherfuckers that just don't be willing to sacrifice by any means. It's always a.
I don't understand
but
that.
This, but I'll wait.
I don't understand
It's
that.
always a condition. It's,
I don't get it.
and that condition.
And again, this is just me, and like whoever's watching this, like understand I'm different. Like I'm just different. Like I don't operate off of like fear or like this will work better or whatever. It's just I'm just an artist, so like there's some things you have to fucking do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even with having a family, 'cause some people would be like, "It's over. It's over once you have a family." Like how? Like there are all these creatives that you see, all these celebrities that you look up to. So most of them have families. How do you think they manage or operate it? It's possible. It's doable.
But there's people without families who aren't doing it, so it's like
right.
Like people.
Excuses on excuses
People
on
have
excuses.
people are worrying about the wrong variables. Like the variables you need to be worrying about is having the right mindset creatively, and
Right.
business wise too. But I'm talking creatively, where you make a record and you're like, this is fucking. Because every day I wake up, I just keep getting better. So, and I tweet this a lot, and I fucking post this a lot, and I think people would think I'm joking. I'm not. I'm like, I wake up every day, I just keep getting better and better. It just doesn't make sense. So when you're like that, there shouldn't be any reason you wake up and have any doubt.
Right.
Say that, but
No bullshit. No
No,
bullshit.
seriously, like,
God.
there's some days I'm fucking tripped out. I'm like, damn, this is really fucking good. Like, why am I not getting worse? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to be pompous. It's just like, these are my personal accolades. Like a person that goes to the gym every day and shoots a fucking 3. He's not even in the NBA or whatever. He just likes the way he shoots. He's like, I have a good shot. I keep getting better. That's how it should be. That makes him want to go to the gym every day. Now, if you're playing like shit a lot, that's when you start being like, I'm talented, but
You can
shit.
get a coach.
Good. What I'm saying is, like, by yourself. And that's where producer comes in, right? So like,
Yeah.
if you're an artist that is not as good. I'm in Georgia writing. I'm a songwriter, so I've written for a few artists while being out there, and a lot of these artists aren't talented. You know what I'm saying? So they aren't getting better. So if they have the budget, they can go to their label and hire somebody like me to come write their record. You know what I mean? So the coach thing definitely makes sense, for sure. But I'm talking about people that don't need that. You know what I mean? Like if you go to the gym and you keep getting better, you're gonna keep going to the gym. But if you're shitty, you know what I mean? But it all comes from repetition now. So
I got another one for you. It depends on who you have around you as well. Because you keep going to that same gym and busting everybody's ass, bunch of scrubs, you ain't gonna get no better that way.
That's his fuck.
yeah.
And you really trash.
For real.
So
Get out your comfort zone.
For real.
we were talking about a specific region earlier.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say this on camera. Okay. That happens to a lot of artists. They blow up in a certain place and then they go to a bigger place and then they fucking are done.
That's nobody.
And we could talk about this later because I don't
Stop.
bash artists. But some of these people, they go to these places and try to conform to that. And they're just like, bro, we don't give a fuck about you, bro. You're not
know who
even
the
from
fuck
here.
you are.
You're not from here.
I'm not from Atlanta, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of my features are from Atlanta. They're all from here. Because I'm a Massachusetts man. You know what I'm saying? And that's what feels good to me. That's what makes me hype. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, no one knows you in those places, so you have to find who you are. You know what I mean? Wherever you are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Nah, it is that.
That's real shit.
It is that. And if you are gonna go someplace,
Don't have it be, because I didn't move. I've been going to Atlanta my whole life, but I didn't move like I'm going to Atlanta to fucking blow up.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that, bro. It doesn't. And once you go there and then you fucking figure that shit out, it's even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Then you really feel like shit. Then you come home and you really just fucking aren't shit. You know what I'm saying? But the busting scrubs on the gym, bro, is very true. It's very true. That's in every game though.
Yeah.
That's if you sell fucking drugs and you're a millionaire in your neighborhood, but then you're trying to go to fucking wherever Miami and rent a fucking Rolls Royce to try to impress people who own Rolls Royces, and their fucking phone list is Drake and fucking Jeff Bezos, and these people have mansions and shit.
Right.
They don't give a fuck about that shit, bro.
Word.
You know what I mean? No disrespect to people who are in cars, but I'm saying like, no. What I'm saying is I've had conversations with people where they were like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna get that, and bro, you never know, bro. Little baby might walk up and be like, yo, that's a fucking Rolls Royce. I'm like, bro, he sees that every fucking day.
That's not how this
bro.
works.
What?
That's not how this works.
Nigga, people say that, and it's a normal thing. Even in Atlanta, people say that shit. Like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that, and then I'm gonna get noticed. He's probably gonna want to fucking give me a feature or something. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, bro, it doesn't work that way.
It really don't.
But that comes from now.
I done talked to all them niggas you talking about. I swear.
But it's everywhere.
Like
It's not
goofy
even
shit.
just Massachusetts, and I want to say that too. I know
Say
people
that
walk
goofy
around
shit.
and be like, I hate fucking Western Mass because people just don't get it. That's everywhere.
Yeah.
Even in the city. All the dumbass conversations I hear in Atlanta, bro, like, damn, it's like it's everywhere. Like,
It really
it
is.
doesn't matter where you are, bro. Like, people are just don't understand. You know what I'm saying?
Even in Boston where I've been like lately, like you see it. You see it.
Mhm.
You see it.
It's everywhere.
It's just like, goddamn, I look up to these people because they open my eyes up to a lot of shit that I had no idea when it comes to this industry shit. But then it's like, oh no, there's levels to every fucking thing everywhere. So you're like, oh damn, these people are here.
Yeah.
And then you see people try and climb it up and you're like, oh nah, you're the motherfuckers that everybody be talking about. Like, nah, yo, stay the fuck away.
It's
Protect
sad.
my energy.
That way,
Protect
energy is
energy.
really important, for sure.
For real.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say this nigga's name, but I've never met this dude. He's from out there, and I don't fuck with him. Never met him.
Straight like
It's just
that, right?
it's just straight like that. It's because of what he displays.
Right.
It's because of what he displays.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell y'all after, and then y'all can look it up for yourself. He talks the most shit about everybody, and it's just like, yo, bro, like, how do you expect to come up in this area and try to be on all these platforms in your area and diss every fucking body? You really think? Nah, bro.
He
That's
probably
not,
doing what bro say. He trying to play the bad guy.
nah, bro. That shit's
So
not.
wait.
It's not, and it's not
This-
worth it.
He said, hold
Wait.
up now, nigga.
I don't never antagonize people. You know what I mean? Just because, first of all,
Dude's taking shots at industry folk too, like people out here and people in the industry.
He just looking for attention.
It's
That's what it sound like.
it's bad.
sometimes you have to do things when the music can't speak,
I think that's what it is.
or both.
I think that's what it is.
I'm not that kind of artist. I've never been, so I can't.
He's definitely one of those artists that complain about traction and how come nobody follows me, or not follows me because he has a crazy following, but how come nobody's playing my shit, how come nobody's showing up to my shows type shit. And I don't understand it
The
because
following is real.
I don't know. His numbers do look crazy, but it's like, why are you complaining so much? Like, fuck you, but something's wrong. It has to be your attitude. I don't know. Being able to work with people is a must.
I know what you're talking about, for sure. It looks bad when you talk like that in public, because you gotta understand. I think artists think that everyone understands the industry and understands the idea of followings and the ideas of like streams and shit like that. And it's just the everyday common folk that listen to music. So if your followers see that you're fucking getting mad and shit, they're just gonna believe like, wow, this person, no one fucks with this person. You're creating the narrative for yourself when you go out and publicly say, no one supports me, why does anybody support me? I've never done that.
I hate that crying for support shit so much, yo. I really do. Go out there and work, yo. Go out there and work.
And it's
Put
not
out
always,
put out a good product. Have a good service.
and
Like,
sometimes the good service doesn't work. You just have to keep going.
no
It's
bull-
timing, bro. Like, it's not like you can put $1 million into it, bro. Like, it's just timing to me personally.
It really is, and the person behind whatever creativity or creative that they're trying to be, like, work has to happen. You can't be lazy. You can't be an artist and be lazy. You can't be anything. You can't be a baker and you can't be anything and be lazy if you're trying to pursue that. It's sad seeing these people trying this shit over and over and over again. They'll put out a project once, don't promote it, don't do nothing, don't come out, don't go anywhere, don't do no shows, don't put out no videos, don't do shit, and then still be complaining for fucking supporters and followers and all this shit. It's like, yo, what are you doing? You're not doing anything for me to want to keep up with you to begin with. So you can keep that conversation to yourself. That's all you're gonna have it with, because nobody's paying attention.
Bullshit.
I would keep it to yourself. I wouldn't project that so much into the universe for people to see, because it just.
And I always tell.
It makes you believe it. Just like I wouldn't have known that.
You always have conversations, and some artists are frustrated, rightfully so. There are some people who I think they're really, really, really good, and I try to make them understand. It's like, yo, you're not consistent enough. Because I think it's because we're at this level, and we're not at this level. People really treat it as a hobby and not a job.
Yeah.
Like, I'm around people who really treat this shit like a second job.
That just sounds crazy.
Somebody like him, Muda, I be around with. Like, people really take risks.
Yo, shout out Muda. Yo, Muda is busting his ass right now.
About to be back in New York again this weekend.
His ass.
Just finishing up his album in New York, so 2 more weeks. We're about to drop an album. And
people are afraid to jump out the window, man.
It's just, I tell them consistency. And I always try to tell people, like, especially on social media, like, don't try to let people into your mind so much, especially about, like, your personal thoughts. And especially when it comes to shit about music, like, I don't have support, people don't support me. I tell them, try your best not to post about shit like that, because as a fan, a consumer, turn off.
It was bad, yeah. It was bad.
People say that shit knowing that they're gonna get more supporter. Their best supporter is gonna be people that they don't know. Mm-hmm. I feel like they want the attention and want the support from people that are so at arm's reach so bad.
These people don't even follow new people though. These people have the same following count the whole year and just never follow new people and never try to network. You know what I mean?
That one.
People also, people are also they're fine with just the certain amount of views or the certain amount of likes.
Somebody give like a producer, videographer, the at name. I'm always clicking and I'm following. Like always. Especially if it's like people that I know that's from like, Eastern Mass, just trying to build a network. And just
and you're a tastemaker too, so that's important.
Well, I'm a tastemaker. Nobody's ever called me that. That sounds pretty dope.
That's what you are.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
I thought you knew that.
Nah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I would just manage. I manage a couple dope ass artists and a dope podcast. I'm gonna add tastemaker to my resume. Event organizer too. I gotta add that to my resume as well.
Yeah, you do, but you be like, I don't want to do it.
What? Oh, event organizer. That's not my
that shit is stressful,
goal.
yo.
Like,
that shit
it is stressful. Like, I'm really trying to be on some like my ultimate goal with this music shit is to be on some like A&R type shit.
Yeah.
I want to be able to create opportunities and give opportunities to people back in Massachusetts. That's my end goal with this whole shit. So.
What's your end goal? What you trying to do?
In totality, there's so much I want to do, to be honest. There's not even one thing. Like, I kind of have a trajectory for the next 10 years. I can't really tell you because it's so much. Like, there could be so many end goals, like even for my end of year goal, you know what I mean? Things I won't want to say out loud just because, these are my own personal things. But throughout the 5 or 6 things that I want to be, I know one of them or 2 of them is going to happen. Because again, this game is all algorithm and it's not chance, but it's just time and it's just hustle. But
you do need a little bit of luck in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just seen the best fall. You know what I mean? I've seen like people who are fucking 100 times more talented than me fall. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with talent. But I kind of just set myself up where I'm just like, okay, I'm a really talented person. I want to do these 6 things. And I know for a fact if I put a little bit into each thing, one of those things is going to happen for sure. You know what I mean? That's not everyone though. But to me personally, like, I don't give a fuck if like...
Let's go.
You want to be a fucking... I don't care. I don't care what you want to be. But just have like a good like 10-year goal where you're like, one of these things is definitely going to happen. Because at the end of the day, like, what do you want to do? You want to take care of your family. You want to have a family. You want to fucking... Like the people say generational wealth and shit like that, right? that hasn't always been my thing. You gotta understand, I was making music before I was making money from music. So when I was making music, I just did it because I loved it before I performed a show. I was making beats before I even fucking had a placement and I got paid. I did a lot of free production for a while before I got paid.
Talk about it.
So I didn't come in here like trying to get money or whatever. Like obviously it just happened, but you know, I don't know. I just love it, and anything I do, I'm just passionate about it. You know, so through all these passions, it's like one of these is gonna work, and it's gonna give me everything I want.
Do you have a favorite between writing, recording, performing, engineering, producing? God.
Just a beast.
It's all art to me because, you know, I like the finished product. I don't engineer anymore for like the public, but you know, I love just making a good record no matter how I can. Yeah. I said it already, but I'm just an artist. Like, I'll do anything to make a good record, you know? And that's why, and I've also come from a place where there weren't any places where people could help you. So I had to make the beat. I had to engineer my own songs. I had to mix. I had to fucking make the beats. Not because I wanted to be because a lot of people just come in like, oh, I want to be a rapper, producer, engineer, mixer. Like, I didn't do that. I didn't become this because I wanted to do this. No, I was fucking 12 years old, and it was Christmas, and I told my mom like, I don't want 1,000 gifts. I want recording equipment because I'm tired of recording on this fucking USB mic into sound recorder on Windows 7 and PC. Like I don't know if you guys remember sound recorder, but this is like fucking years ago, like a long time ago. So you could open up a sound recorder and you could record like 20 seconds, right? And you can open up a bunch of them. So I used to write my songs, like I'd have the verse, I'd record 20 seconds of it, open up another one. I used to record whatever, open up another one. And then after these 5 boxes, you could play each one. I'd have to click each one to make a full song. This is when I was 9. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't come into this like I want to be a rapper producer. It's just there's just things I had to fucking learn. I was using Cubase at 12. I was making beats. I was on FL, like I've been looking at FL Studio since I was 9.
That's crazy. It's
been 19 years. My uncle brought home he was a programmer, so he used to get all like the crack software, and I used FL1, the first FL Studio ever. It's like there's been 15 versions since then. I've literally been looking at this screen for fucking a really long time, and I don't know. This is why I'm trying to tell you, like I wasn't like a person who did one thing and then found music. This is what I've been doing my whole life. So the most amazing thing is just I'm not getting worse, and that's what helps me. That's where the inspiration comes from, is waking up every day and being able to make great music still, whether it's for me or writing for somebody else. You know what I mean?
Word.
Imagine him smacking his finger with that shit.
You?
Y'all ever got told that you gatekeeping weed?
Nah.
No.
Yeah, I got told that today.
That's your what?
Gatekeeping weed.
What does that mean?
Like I didn't want to give up my dealer.
But we have dispensaries now.
I know, but
Who don't got good weed dealers today?
And who only got one dealer?
listen, this is what I got told. I got told I was gatekeeping.
That's crazy. Gatekeeping. Another term that gets
Should've
thrown
told
out
him to eat a Frankie.
around here, and people get upset at it. What do you think about gatekeepers?
They be saying I'm one.
I mean, you put yourself in a position.
Oh, wow.
I feel like it's hard to gatekeep. Gatekeeping only affects you if you're playing that. If you're playing in if you're trying to work a certain market. But if you're doing your own thing, no one can really gatekeep you.
And I also feel like if you're not actively being able, if you have like no quote unquote political say so, if you can maneuver things, and if you're not really providing like real opportunities, You
Yeah.
have to be able to have something to gatekeep.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, go ahead.
Now
go ahead.
I was gonna talk about something else. Well, actually, there's something to that. About people being content with their position. They built up this, I don't know, not even a facade. They built up an actual career, and they can go further with the connections that they made, but they choose to stay here. What do you think about those type of people?
I think you're talking about like not
Yeah,
even local.
yeah, locally.
Yeah. Yep.
People are scared for one. It takes a lot to go out and do something on your own, because, like, for example, like even me moving to Georgia, like this is the first time I've ever lived anywhere else away from my family or friends, anything, and it's lonely. You know, you're alone a lot. You do, like, it's not the same as living in your city where you can link with friends and shit like that. And a lot of people don't want to go out and make that next step because it's just a lot of sacrifice, and people don't want to sacrifice. And to be honest, like, people aren't gonna love you as much as they love you here. Not speaking personally, I'm just saying, like, if you have like a little look here and then you go somewhere else, no one's gonna give a fuck about you. We talked about that. So that's why I see a lot of people coming back, not even in Western Mass, but just anywhere. They come there for a little bit, then they're like, oh, fuck this, we're
And
going
they go
back.
back home.
Yeah. My million, not, you know what I'm saying? Not even like somebody has $1 million, but like my million doesn't stack next to this fucking $100 million man, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't impressing bitches as much as it was impressing bitches back home. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that hurts a lot of people's egos and shit like that. It's an ego thing, too.
Yeah, I think failure is part of that too. People are just
I don't understand that, though, because
people don't want to fail. They
all the
don't wanna
biggest
fail.
artists failed a lot. Like, all my idols failed a lot. Like, went through a lot of shit, took years off.
Shit.
Like, years off of music and came back and then was fine, you know what I mean? So failure isn't really a thing of mine. Like, obviously, like, you take L's or whatever and you have depressing moments. Like, artists are depressed because it's just how our brains are wired. I have horrible anxiety, you know what I mean? But, like, that shit never, like, affect the goal, you know what I mean?
But it does for certain people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't get it. That's something I don't get. But that's I don't know. I think that's the athlete in me, because it's like we didn't take many L's. It's just like, nah, you're not the next one.
Definitely athlete. Yeah, and sports fans too, in general. Yeah.
What? I'm in the Hall of Fame. Don't. I gotta bring that up again.
Fucking respect. Keep his fucking name out your mouth. You heard him?
Like, everybody knows Smitty
Wrestling
Brothers,
legend.
man. Everybody knows Smitty Brothers. Please.
Smitty.
But yeah,
People love to tell me that. You know, I play football with your brother, right? Okay. Okay.
being content only happens if everyone around you kind of like is on the same thing. So if no one's telling you like we should go and do the next thing, like it makes it easier to be content. Like everyone I surround myself, we're looking for the next thing, you know what I mean? Whether it's producer or whatever. I look at friends and I'm like, damn, that's fucking fire. I want to do that next. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just what it is. But if all your friends are doing the same shit every day, it's like, hey, this feels good.
I don't like that. I don't like that
No.
at all. There are a few group of collectives, like, but like that I can tell empower each other, like the three of us do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that doesn't come very, very often. You see a lot of things bubble up and then just
Fizzle out.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you move better as a unit. You know what I mean? But everyone in the unit has to be able to pull the same amount of weight. You know?
Absolutely.
That's the only way it works. You can't just be one man or two men or three men. Like everyone has to do the same amount of work.
Absolutely. Motherfuckers don't want to do any work.
Yeah.
Sit on the side. Sit on the
on,
side.
man. Yeah.
Sit on the side and you just be chilling.
Yeah.
Told you, girl.
This nigga, he be pissing me off. He'll say stupid shit like this, but then we'll be in New York and not tell nobody. Performing and shit. Like,
Good for you.
Sometimes
Do what you gotta do.
opportunities present themselves.
Yeah. Do what you got to do.
You know,
I think that's a bigger thing to the contempt mentality too. It be sometimes where it's damn near some misery loves company without the person being miserable.
Say that again.
It's damn near some misery loves company without the person being miserable. So now if motherfucking you want to do something but the motherfuckers around you don't want to do shit, now every time you saying let's go do this or let's go do that, motherfuckers say nah.
Mm-hmm.
Now your drive to go do all that shit starts diminishing. Until you like.
So you just have
Or
to.
you just start.
Yeah, you
not
can't.
making them phone calls and going to do what the fuck you gotta do. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
so good for you. I'm glad you did that.
shit,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's important. Because that ends up being like, oh, if no one else wants to go, you would have just fucking stayed home. You know what I mean? So, good for you. That's good.
I think he's the perfect person to have this conversation with. The whole Doja Cat thing.
What?
So
what category of music would you put Doja Cat in?
Rap.
I disagree.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna
Explain
do this.
more, 'cause-
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do this.
No, I'm saying no, not you guys. I'm just saying I'm not gonna do this thing where we're gonna use the hip hop structure, and then try to take yourself away from it just because
Exactly.
there's a bad stigma to it.
and that's my reason. I do agree
I don't
with
think
you
that's what it
guys
is.
that she's a pop star that raps really well. So then when we were having that discussion, I had to go back. I'm at work. I'm listening through her whole catalog, all her albums that she dropped, and then I'm thinking to myself, when it comes to rappers and rapping, what are the check marks that we're looking for? We're looking for cadence. We're looking for flows, metaphors, storytelling, wordplay, bars.
Type of production is included in
Yeah,
that.
but she has that. I'm checking it off. Cadence, her cadences are crazy. Flows, crazy. Metaphors, crazy. Her storytelling, how she pieces her shit together, breath control.
I think that's all just artist things, so.
She's a really great
So
rapper.
what makes her a pop artist, though?
Her production,
Yes.
Yes,
melodies,
styles of
how she
songs.
structures her
Yeah,
songs.
styles of songs.
So what song? Like what? Like give me a song where it's like a pop
I've
artist.
been feeling freaky deaky. That's with her and Tyga.
The whole shit with her and what?
I don't even like that
Weeknd,
song.
The song with her in The Weeknd.
That song is
The
fire
shit
too.
show.
The shit with her and SZA.
A lot of her big songs.
This conversation's really popular. I'm probably the wrong person to have that conversation with, just because.
I think you're the perfect person because
No, just
you
because-
rap
yeah.
and do the
Yeah.
melodic. Do people call you a rapper or they call you an artist?
I like to be called a rapper because I can rap. A lot of people think it's like a bad stigma to be a rapper. Like, I'm an artist. Like, I would only call myself an artist just because I can play all sides of the fence in the studio. You know what I'm saying? Cool. But if you're a rapper, you're a rapper. Like, you're rapping. I don't know. I look at Doja's. It's kind of like the Post Malone shit. Like, that shit pissed me. Like, not pissed me off.
He's not a rapper. I've never heard him spit bars.
It's hip hop.
Nah, he done rapped on some shit. He done rapped on some shit. But I'm not.
It's not even about bars to me though. It's hip hop to me, right?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying though, but Doja didn't come in the game as a pop artist.
Mm-hmm.
She follows a hip hop structure. She's a pop artist. Like,
I don't get that.
name other pop artists though that aren't her skin complexion.
That's another thing I was.
No,
gonna
I'm not
say.
making it a race thing, but I'm asking you, like, name a white pop artist for me. No, I'm not putting you on the
Fucking
spot.
Demi Lovato.
She's not even relevant like that.
Ariana
Like,
Grande.
Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
Has she ever rapped on a song before?
No.
No. If Doja Cat came out with fucking Say So, you know what? No, I won't even say So. Maybe her newer shit, and there's no discography before that, I would say she's a pop artist. And this is I feel like it's a stupid opinion, to be honest, but that's just how I feel. I look at you as a rapper, I look at you as a hip hop, and I think she would agree, right?
Yeah, she absolutely said that she wants her respect as a rapper, and I feel like she should want that.
I think it's context.
I feel like there's no argument with Bia. Like, I feel like everybody.
I've
I
never heard Bia sing or some shit. Or
Right, Bia
poppy
only
records.
raps.
Exactly.
She's a rapper. so
That's what I'm.
no question.
That's what I'm saying. There's a difference between the two.
I also
It's
think
the same shit with the Remy and the Nicki shit. You know what I mean? Like the bags in the pockets Nicki was able to get in to actually get pop money, and the radio stations they genuinely played on.
I don't think Remy had those opportunities that Nicki had
Oh, fully
production
agree.
wise.
Oh,
I
fully
think
agree.
Remy would have
I don't
did
even
that
think
if
she
she.
took them.
I think Remy would have.
I don't think so. I don't think she would have went that. I don't think she would have went that EDM route. I don't believe. So.
I don't know, bro. Like,
But that's the camp she was in too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Remy's a hustler,
You
so
coming
like
under
I think she
Wine
definitely
and
would
Joe,
have.
and you coming under spitter.
But
so.
none of them went that route. That's why I don't feel like
Like who?
that whole Terror Squad. Nobody went that EDM
That
type.
wasn't even a thing at that time.
At that
though.
time, yeah.
Okay, but
They
Pitbull
had
was around at
fucking-
that time, and Pitbull went full that way. I'm just talking
Pitbull
about.
was
We're
like
just talking. I'm throwing out an example. Pitbull's been around for a long. Yes, he has.
Pitbull
Pitbull's
didn't
been around
start
for a
that
long ass
Miami
time.
shit till like 06.
Pitbull
though,
was
right?
Pitbull was rapping when he first came out.
Yeah,
I'm talking about like.
But he was.
I'm talking about like
When he
18
started getting pop-
Fat Joe,
wasn't
Big
Mr.
Pun.
305.
Nah. I'm talking like 80s, 90s. Nah, correct.
Back in the day,
But
bro.
he's been around long enough for me to make the example.
Back in the day, like when it came to studio shit and like making records, like nobody was thinking of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now they do. Like people are going to fucking Cool and Dre and shit. Cool and Dre is great, but I'm saying like they weren't thinking about EDM and shit like that. So I don't know. It was just a different time. Nicki came in with fucking Wayne, so it was like the people she met through Wayne. She had way more opportunities to kind of be more. And she's more open to be written for.
That also goes to the camp, like he was saying. That also goes to the camp that they're in because Wayne also went that route. Like he did as well.
Mm-hmm.
And my point that I brought up in the group was what's the lead's name from Limp Bizkit? What's his
Fred
name?
Durst.
Oh shit.
That's most rap. Trappy McCoy from Gym Class Heroes. The lead from Linkin Park. You know what I mean, most rock bands
They be rapping.
They were
but they're-
the lead is a rapper.
My
but it's
first
still
song I
considered
learned
rock.
by heart was "In the End" by Linkin Park.
He's rapping.
I know that
He's a
song word
rock-
by
he's
He's
word.
rapping,
That's
but it's
rock.
the genre, regardless
That's
if
rock.
it's structure wise, it's still rap. That's rock.
See,
It's
this is
alternative
what I
rock.
was talking about before. Where we kind of just fixate on things, and I don't think it fucking matters. I think it only matters the artist. Like this whole chart shit and putting people in boxes and shit like that. I'm not saying you're putting people in boxes.
That's what I'm doing.
That's fine. There's
Yeah,
nothing
nah,
wrong
I'm
with
just fucking
that.
around, just fucking around,
Because-
just fucking around.
Because that needs to exist. I think that structure needs to exist. But as a common listener like me, I don't look at shit as like this is this is that, this is that. I think there's definitely hip hop influence. Like you can listen to a country song and be like, this is country.
Go to
But
the
you
Kane
guys-
Brown.
Yeah, but you guys definitely have hip hop influence. That's why I don't like new country because it sounds like rap to me. Honestly, it does. I like old country. I like 90s country, 80s country. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no hip hop influence because they didn't like rap back then. Now it's like hip hop is
Come on, Coons! Like
seriously. Like there's a lot of hip hop. There's a lot of country records that just sound like hip hop. I mean, it's all across the board.
Nah,
Migos
it
said
is.
this years
Lady
ago.
Antebellum she be rocking.
Yeah,
She be rocking.
it's a group.
Okay, my bad. I got it in my list and I play it. Lady Antebellum.
Yeah, it's a
Whatever.
It's a girl and two guys.
I only know.
It's a band.
My bad.
But like even early, like in folk records and shit, like Fiona Apple.
Shout out folk records.
Like yeah, I'm big into folk. But like Fiona Apple, like she raps. She knows how to fucking rap. There's a record. I'll show you. I'll send you. Like she rapped better than most rappers. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, bro. It's like I don't like boxing things in because then we have the conversations of what is Doja Cat? It's like
I know, but
to
I feel
your
like
point,
it sounds good.
to your point, and I feel like I for the past year or so, I feel like we all been having this conversation in this where music is going now with this generation.
Mhm.
That is where music is going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, to your point, exactly what you're saying. You're going back in the day where certain categories were so specific to that category or genre because maybe you didn't like this type of music or maybe there was genuinely no influence. It was
Yeah.
really
how many different rock
historical shit.
categories are there?
Right.
We have
Right.
hip hop.
Now you got so much of a blend off of hip hop. It's like everything is a melting.
Hey, I'm on this podcast. I'm gonna call you right back.
Fire.
This you know what it just called me? Los. You know who Los is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another Springfield legend.
I have him on the record also.
Ooh. He said,
shit,
can
put
we
that
talk,
on
can we
speaker
talk about
first.
your new record? I mean,
Yeah,
your
I've actually
project
had
before
three
you leave?
songs. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a little time. Talk about what you got coming up.
I don't. Well, it doesn't fucking matter by the time this comes out. I have a full length rap album coming out.
Say that.
It's about 12 songs. Has a lot of features from a lot of local artists. By the time this comes out, you guys will see the track list. But I have Blaze G on there. I got a song with Blacksmith. Waiting on a verse from Fabian. I can't be mad at Fabian for taking so long.
We clipping this. We clipping this.
I can't be mad at Fabian for taking so long because years ago I did a song with him and Reek. There's a song with me, him, and Reek that never came out, and I didn't use it, and I fucking hounded him for a good 2 weeks. I actually grabbed him from his house and brought him to the studio and made him do the verse. And I'm like, bro, do this fucking verse, bro. It's not against his will. That never came out, and it's okay that you're taking long. I'll wait. But I have a song with him and Los on the same record. It's really fucking good.
There was a bunch of things that you just reminded me of that I wanted to touch on. I forgot to.
Let's go. Fuck it. Let's go.
About,
I have to go to a session. The person's not even there yet. Let's keep rocking.
Oh, what's the name about holding records or even selling records? Like you're writing, people don't want to sell their records. I feel like.
What do you mean by that?
People. We had this conversation last week. I feel like people have a better pen than they do. Voice.
But those people are writers.
Yes.
But people don't want to let that go, and they want to be the artist.
Yes, I have a lot of writer friends, so I definitely get what you're saying. And then when you write so many records, you have the image of a writer in the industry. So I think a lot of writers come out with their own music, and the people that they wrote for don't support it because they look at them as a writer. And I'm saying that because I'm a producer and a rapper. And people I produced for, a lot of them don't really take me in as a rapper. So when I'm in these rooms, a lot of people are like, oh, you need to fucking play your record in front of these people. I'm like, oh, no. Because you know what's going to happen? It's going to fuck our relationship up.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you hear this record...
Yeah,
they're going to fuck that relationship up. I've done it a couple times. But I don't do it a lot because I'm here to either show a beat or write a record.
You gotta wear the hat you're in the room for.
Yeah, you don't disrespect the session because it's a blessing at the end of the day to even be able to be in some of these rooms. You know what I mean? I know that for a fact. I don't give a fuck. I'd be starstruck or whatever. There's some rooms I'm just like, man, this is fucking great. I come from Chicopee. You know what I mean? Come from literally zero network at all. You know what I mean? So I'd just be happy and I'd be thankful. What was the question?
I'm just saying, do you think people should even consider it? Or how would they even go about selling a record?
What do you mean, after writing?
Yeah, after writing.
Oh, taking a reference and selling it.
Yeah.
So that is tricky. I'm just started songwriting, so it's a little tricky for me just because I'm still learning from my peers and learning from the industry or whatever. As far as I see, it has to be a thing where you have to be walked in. This isn't a place where you can just send records or whatever, send references, because people are there's a lot of NDA shit and a lot of secrecy shit where it's you can send a really good record, but they're probably not going to take it because there's too much trail. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
A lot of records that I wrote, I was in a studio with actually Case. You guys know who Case is?
Hell yeah.
This nigga.
Yeah.
I'm missing you. You wrote that shit?
Yeah, right.
What? Man.
Was it diaper?
What?
I wasn't in diapers. It was maybe 5. But no, what I'm saying is this is one of the first sessions I had moving to Georgia where it was I was able to actually create in a space, and I was like, you know what? I was with a producer who had a folders of references, and I'm like, okay, these are people he has relationships with already. Because I was going into it okay, I have a bunch of fucking catchy songs and R&B records. I'm just gonna send these out and see what happens. But everybody who I would send them to would be really weird, just because it needs to be an in-person kind of thing. You know what I mean? You have that relationship, and it's because a lot of that shit can't come out. You know what I mean? They don't want to see a trail where you could fucking leak a reference or something.
And no bullshit. That's what I didn't think about.
Yeah. So, and I learned that coming to Georgia. That was one thing I learned. I was like, okay, so these relationships have to be okay, they heard my music. Now they'll come take me and be like, oh, come write for this person. You know what I mean? And that happens for every writer. The dream, all the people that you love, that's exactly how it happened. Yeah.
That's dope. That's definitely a point I didn't think of.
It's not like beats. Beats, you don't really need relationships anymore.
Yeah.
You put it on YouTube, put it on here.
Shit, not even that. You don't need to know the producer anymore. You know what I mean? Know the artist that you're producing for. You get to have 0 conversations with them. But
It's dope. It's lovely.
yeah.
It really is. Your social media one time. project coming up. Where can everybody find that as well?
Everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere. I always distribute everywhere.
Your social media where everybody can follow you?
At KKIZLE on Instagram, Twitter, Filthy KIZLE, and yeah, those are the only social medias I use. So.
Word.
Yes.
Word.
Well,
No word. Welcome to Splitfield 3, coming soon. Thank you for coming on, man. It's a long time coming. This was a dope interview.
For sure.
Hell yeah. Until next time, we out this hoe.